Hi, I'm Wildkatt. It is 31st of October 2021, Halloween. And I've just got out of the shower, and basically I communicate with spirit, and they've asked me to start just telling my story. I want to write a book. It's taking some time coming. I've done a little bit of audio and a little bit of writing, and this is obviously an easy way of doing it. And whilst they're communicating and wanting me to share a lot of things, I thought I'd just come on and talk. Obviously I can edit it, obviously I can sort of put it into chapters and stop and start. And also, as they've said that they want to show themselves, then hopefully they will come and join us in orbs and in spirit form, which is obviously easy to see, as you can see what's happening right now. They've asked me to stop hiding and come out and show who I am and what I do and what my purpose is, and I work for spirit. Mine is a healing channel, but I've been reading and passing messages on for many years. Basically since I found the internet in 2004, people connected me. My all these things that have been happening all through my life were starting to make sense, and it's been a journey since then, trying to know myself, basically understand myself, find out where I fit in. I don't fit in, but anyway, I thought I'd tell my story. So like I said, right back in 2004, I was just coming out of my third marriage. My husband at the time was still living in our rented property, and he used the internet a lot, and that's how I really found it. I'm not tech savvy. When he finally left, I got on my computer and was lonely. So I went on a few, I suppose you would call them dating sites at the time, but it was a worldwide thing. Let me just add quickly in there, my son was 16 at this time. And it's, my sort of, he was born on 8/8/88. There's always been weird and wonderful things happening to me. I also have a daughter, 16 to 96, was born. I have no contact with them at present. That's another story. Anyway, this particular day, I'd gone onto the internet, didn't understand how things worked, and a lot happened. I know the site connects in with America, worldwide, and people just came to me. It's like I was attracting these things and telling me what I was, and I was this and I was that, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know how they could tell me what I was without meeting me. I met a priest on there, and you'd think they'd all be like, sorry about that, Christian and everything. But he basically was telling me about how all religions are connected, and I was going to be stopping and starting because I'm going to have messages coming in. Yeah, so as I found the internet, I connected with a priest who was telling me about, how he basically told me the story about like a faceted diamond, where each religion or each spiritual connection is seen by people off the facet of the diamond. So you've basically got a source spirit in the centre, God, whatever you want to call it, and then each facet of the diamond is people's perception. So you've got Muslims looking on one side, and you have sort of Hindus, and then Egyptians, and so on and so forth, off each facet, but it all connects down to the centre, which I always thought was a lovely way of describing religion, spirituality, whatever. We're all one in the centre. It's just everybody's perception. And when people are having readings done or having spiritual connections or being guided by various people, it'd be certain tools or things that help them understand that way into that source. So, for instance, those who believe in angels would actually be given or shown in angel form. Those who believe in para-animals would actually be working with the animal forms. And again, each would connect with that same central message, central source. Those who very much believe in God Jesus as that humanish form would be shown him. None are wrong. No, everybody is right. Everybody is what is needed to connect to the soul, understanding of where they come from and where they're coming back to, and to help pass on those messages. Like Sam is gazumping now. Now, another thing that happened during this, when I was on this like internet dating thing, was I connected with somebody in America. It was a Native American guy. I've always been like an animal whisperer, saving animals, connecting with animals, always been a cat person. I'll tell that story later. And his tagline, his name, he was known as was Crazy Horse. Now, I've had a real strong affinity with Crazy Horse. Always was like into the cowboys and Indians at home as a kid, and had this real Indian connection. We all sort of go, we can all be traced back through a Native American line, so that's no strange to anybody that we all connect with a Native American guide or whatever. But so Crazy Horse's tag Crazy Horse coming on. He was on the dating site. He was a biker. He told me that he works on this reservation as a charity. They go around and helping all those people on the reservation, on the Sioux reservation, over in America. And they're bikers, and they'd sort of go around on their bikes and help people. And I was having a lovely chat with him. And he showed and taught me a lot of things. Sammy, I don't want your bum in the picture. Let me get rid of him. So I say the video is more for my purpose. I can pull my book off of it, so I'm just going to waffle. So Crazy Horse started talking to me, and again, he had this sort of affinity with me, and it was really strange how he connected with me. He wanted to give me a test, let's say, because I'd been doing things that I didn't understand. I'd been talking to, let's say, a policeman and things like that, and he was able to see ghosts, and I'd done some weird and wonderful things of actually sort of spiritually connecting and walking around his house and telling him what's around it, and I'll tell that story again later. I'm trying to get to Crazy Horse at the moment. So he was basically asking me to do the same with him. He said, I want you to focus on me, where I am, in my room, and I want you to come into my room and walk around the room and tell me what you see. So I thought it'd be daft. But I did it, and I proceeded to tell him, what was in his room and walk around, and he was just blown away. And I've been told from other people that I was a seer. I was able to do all sorts of different things. Obviously, I knew I was, for want of a better word, a shapeshifter, because this policeman had seen me as a white wolf outside his house, and I'd been called White Wolf. I knew that's what I was. And the fact that somebody could see dead people, that was his gift. I said, well, what did you see? He didn't just say a wolf, he said white wolf. And that was like a clarification on my part about the fact that I was that. For a while, I called myself White Wolf. I was working alongside somebody called Blue Wolf at the time. I've called myself Lady Cat. I've called myself Medicine Woman. I've called myself all sorts of things. I've always had this innate knowing of this connection. But Crazy Horse, as himself, is somebody that I've always had a connection to, and again, very animistic. Native American medicine men are very animistic, not shamanic, let's say. I didn't know about shamanism. I didn't know it existed. I'd I'm going to be a lot of jumbling up here because I've said I'm just going to try and tell my story. I'd a time when my son was with me when he was 16, I'd started mixing with people. I found got into BDSM sites, which is submission, bondage, all sorts of things. But I understand now, I see now why that I was down that path, because if you look at how I was beaten in servitude and things like that, it was very much a test of my strength, of my unconditional love. And also I was crossing paths with people that was teaching me so much. So I ended up spending time with witches in a witches' coven, and learning things there spiritually. That went off on a tangent. They were all very much involved in this BDSM stuff, but also there were Knights Templar there, and there were all sorts of sort of people in government high stuff. And I was just like this little pawn there to learn, I suppose, on my journey. But let me go back to the Crazy Horse story at the moment. He showed me wonderful, amazing things. He made a seagull appear outside my window. He put spiritual wings around me and gave me a hug and made me cry. He told me I had gifts that people on his reservation were not even being born with nowadays. And he was very excited to meet me and know me. And he basically invited me to go over to the reservation in America and stay with them and learn their ways and have, and learn how to work with my gifts. And it was like, well, I've never been out of the country. I had my son with me. I had a daughter too. Sammy. Sorry. But he never does this. It's interesting how much he's getting involved in this video. I couldn't just up and leave. I had no money anyway. And but I was very excited at the prospect of learning more, and to have whatever this gift was that I had to be verified, and to, Anyway, as it happened, I carried on talking to him for a while, and he was desperate to sort of get me over there, and said that the reservation needed help. They needed people to sort of come and bring back the old ways and things like that. Anyway, this one day I come online and there was no answer, and I sort of kept messaging. And I was getting a bit worried. I thought, well, was it all a con? Was it all, as you do, you never know with the internet, do you, who you're talking to and everything else like that. But this guy come on, and he actually come onto his account and to talk to me. And he said, sorry to sort of come on, and, I know you've been talking to him, and, I know what's been going on, I know what he's been saying to you in that. And he called himself Red Feather. I never knew the guy's name. I was he just always knew him as Crazy Horse, his tagline. I never asked his first name or anything. Anyway, Red Feather, he said he's the chief there. And he wanted to sort of let me know that Crazy Horse had gone into hospital. He had a heart attack, and it wasn't good. To cut a long story short, he had 3 heart attacks in the end and sadly passed. And Red Feather said to me, he's very much aware of the communication we had, because it's been shared with him. Did I still want to go over? Obviously they would honour that if I still wanted to go over, but at this point I thought, no, that's obviously a message showing that the time was not right, and I thanked him why. I said, I couldn't, at that time in my life, I couldn't do it, but I appreciated the offer. It was, I basically wished him well, and at that point, I didn't know, having Red Feather and Crazy Horse's names, it's nothing was verified apart from the fact that I trusted that story, I trusted who they were. That was verified later on, only literally a couple of years ago, which was interesting, by a Sioux Indian medicine man who came over to the UK. I'll put that bit of the story in right now. just so it's all tangible and makes sense. So I've always wanted to meet Sue. Sue also very much into circular things and that, and I'd started painting drums, I'd started doing all sorts of things, and this calling crazy horse, it's like I connected with him even during some shamanic training I was doing, which I didn't intend to do at all. It's just, again, that was another story that I was like in a way pushed into things, but it was all done to help me get answers, I suppose. Spirit works in mysterious ways. This is such a jumble, but it helped me write the book later, because obviously these are just like memories and things. Anyway, when this Sue medicine man came over, they were doing a retreat over in the UK, and I met him. And to cut a long story short, I was sitting down with him one evening. And I said, "Can you do me a favour?" He goes, "What's that?" I said, "If I told you a name, if I told you, could you verify that that person existed on the reservation over there, if you knew of him?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I can." So I told him the story, and I told him my Red Feather's name. He goes, "Oh, I know him." And I instantly was like, "What? You do? He's real?" And that sort of I started putting pieces together a little bit, that everything I've been shown, taught, everything I've been doing was real. Everything that they said about these gifts I had, this channel that I had, this ability I had, was real. It was verified. And he too offered me the same offer again, to go over to him and learn their ways and like be a student and things. And it was very humbling. Very, very humbling. But at the time I had a lot to learn. And the person running the retreat, who was actually, working with him and things, she was helping him take on a few people to go and spend time with him, learn from him. And she didn't quite get me. I understand that. She didn't understand what I did. It was all about, my fast speaking and not being very calm. Obviously, I'm learning as well at the time. And those who understand me and connect with me know that me, Kat, is this sort of absolute yet control person, but Wildkatt, when I work, is just this really focused, amazing channel. And she was talking to Kat. Anyway, she asked me to go see her to discuss being part of this teaching. And we'll basically just sort of get to know me. And when I went to meet her, I actually said, "Before you start, I'm not going to accept any offer or expect to be put on anything." I said, because Spirit's already told me, no, I don't need to go over. My place is here to learn and to teach. And that's not an egotistical thing. It's just obviously a message I get from Spirit. I wasn't ready. I can't help over there, but I can help those who need what I'm supposed to be doing, channeling Spirit and helping the people here, the community here. And I had a lot of learning to do and a lot of things to do, and that's my place. And she goes, "All right." And she goes, "Well," she didn't get what I did. She goes, "Give me a sample." We do. I said, "Let me give you a sample." She goes, "Well, talk from Spirit, give me a reading." I said, "I don't do things like that." She goes, "Just do it." So I did. I started talking, connecting, and going off in like trance and telling her about her, what she had around her past, her future, what to look out for, and anything else like that. And then I stopped talking, looked at her. I said, "Well," she goes, "Well, what?" I said, "What's it?" She goes, "Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, does it?" She goes, "You've got a gift, go believe in you and get on with it." So there's a lot of things going on in all this, and I went out of there thinking I did right there. My place was not amongst that group. I know very much my journey is a lonely one to walk alone, but I have to help those who cross my path, who are drawn to me, and I have done some teachings, I have done some this and that, and it's just incredible what I'm doing. If I can backtrack a little bit and go to the witches, the coven, the guys, I went down to Cornwall for a while. I was Devon first. Devon people I met in the BDSM scene, they were witches. So we went down there, spent a lot of time with them, and I was invited into their coven, because obviously I was working spiritually as well, and started learning things and studying and trying to sort of make sense of things. And one of the grandmaster, what we call it, died, but before he did, I was in a circle with him. And I just was just like tearing my hair out, because they were saying you've got to meditate, you've got to be able to see things, you've got to be able to visualise and everything else. I said, I can't do it, I can't do all this stuff. And so I thought I could never be able to do work, any spiritual work, because I just couldn't do whatever they are saying had to be done. My connection is just like instant. It's not like I work my way through, which I realise now that I've got such a speedy, and I'm there, that I don't need to work all through these processes that people will talk for the ones who can't have that like instant connection. Didn't know at the time. And one of the most important things he said, because obviously I was very much a talker at the time, I was like very, very manic. That's part of my condition as well. That's something else. I have a mental health condition that's actually, I'm spiritual and I connect, but it's obviously written as a mental health condition as well. What have you just done, little kitten? Notice how all the cats are coming around to join in, and I think you might notice there's been a few wolves in the background too. Anyway, so I was told by him that we got 2 of these, 1 of these. So shut this one and use these 2 more, and learn to listen and learn to watch, learn to people watch, learn to take things in. And because my mouth comes over very tactless, because my head and my brain, the condition I have, doesn't work very well. So I actually don't talk to people unless I'm spoken to first. I'm very shy every time. Once I get going, I'm the life and soul, like you can't shut me up. But because I'd always got into trouble for saying the wrong thing, or people misunderstanding how I come over, if that makes sense, I'm very straight talking, and it just come over tactless and that's my psychiatrist comment, it's overbearing. But that's just who I am. I've learned to accept it now, and people who know how I work will take that. And a lot of it is spirit talking straight through me. I'll just like channel that spirit, and tell the messages and say it as it is. And if you say it wrong, or if you're not that direct, then the wrong message should be given. So I don't dilly-dally, I do give things completely straight. Anyway, not just him giving me advice, I was also went through a few moots, went to a few gatherings with the witches, and everybody had this like fear of me, let's say. I was told that I had latent powers. I was obviously very powerful, but I didn't understand it. I was basically a cannon waiting to sort of blow up. And because they didn't know me, and they didn't know if I was like work for good, bad, indifferent, whatever, they were very aware of me, and also the dangers of the fact that I had these powers, what they were on about. I mean, I didn't really know what powers they were at the time. I had these powers that, in the wrong hands of if I'm not under control emotionally, mentally, then obviously that could be dangerous. And they say it's very important that, I learn how to control those powers and learn how to be calm and things. And basically it scared me a little bit. And they also said that I was probably more druidic, to go off onto a druidic path. I understand that I'm very much in connection with the woods and trees and everything like that, but that didn't make sense. I also knew I wasn't just witch. I knew be witch in the past and things like that, and other lives, and I understand that connection there. But I didn't have a name for what I was. Still at that point, I couldn't find what I was or where I belonged. Obviously, on the shamanic side and crazy horse side and things like that, then and the mystic side, that makes sense later. But I knew I was even now I'm a multitude of things, but that's also what I channel, is a multitude of things. I'll go off a tangent here. I'd even gone off to join become like a monk. I say monk as in a Tai Chi. I can't remember what it's called. Not Tai Chi. Some other stuff that I went to learn. And the problem with doing that was that when I was actually in the class, every time they were like moving the things, moving the energy in the body, I felt everything. I was on the floor shaking, all adrenaline going. I was just absolutely, they couldn't I couldn't ground myself. They're trying to help me ground myself, sort of sitting on the floor, put my feet against the wall, ceiling. Everybody was around me trying to sort of control all this, because obviously I was so in tune to everybody. And even the I don't really call them grandmasters, even the main sort of guy who came over from sort of China and that, just like was blown away by my ability to feel, sense, understand, and how in tune I was. And I actually had to leave that group purely because I was too sensitive. I was too in tune. I was like, in a way, more too advanced on stuff, and I couldn't. It was just something else that, in a way, I felt was a failure. But I also understand that, I'm my sensitivity and my abilities are so fine tuned in energy, light, vibration. I can see, feel, read. I can do it. When I was younger, I used to, before I get on the internet, things were happening with me. I used to walk through shopping centres and fall down on the floor in pain and not be able to cope, because I was tuned into every person's body. I could know how, if somebody was ill, what pain they were in, what part of the body it was in, and it affected me. And I didn't understand this. I just, it was like I ended up avoiding people, or it's like people would mirror themselves in me and mirror it back, and they'd sort of see in me how they were, and were sort of thinking I was like that, but it was actually them. Does that make sense? It's like I sort of learned, in a way, to sort of try to sort of protect myself a little bit more, and unknowingly, what the Spirit was helping me, and that's it. When people meet me, they either on the vibration that they understand, and they're really drawn to me because obviously I can help them and actually work with them, or they're on a vibration that is I affect them where we don't gel, and they're not ready to sort of mix on that. I mean, not everybody's on different vibrations, but throughout my journey, I was being put in amongst different people and different paths, and you sort of learn your lesson, and you're pushed on. You moved on from that. You're made uncomfortable because your vibration raises. You're moved on, or your vibrations don't fit. You move on. So it's how you find your groups, and as you can say, everybody's a lower vibration than somebody else. Everybody's higher than somebody else, but it's like you find your niche. You find your little community that you work with, and that's your vibrational group. That's your group that you work with. That's your like little nest egg. And I've visited a few, and I've go to a few to actually heal them, or to work with them, or to learn from them, and then I end up going off. You just go off on your little tangent on your own journey, and many people find feeling lost and they don't fit in because they haven't maybe found their little niche in their group yet, or they're still learning and they're still on their soul journey. So anyway, like I say, 2004 is when I found the internet. This journey began, trying to make sense of the pieces, meeting different people, going through different lifestyles, always been connected to cats, always been connected to animals. And I remember, that's another example of weird and wonderful things happened to me. I was told I was this year, I was told I had visions all the time. Probably less so now, probably talk to spirit more than anything now around the other visions, because obviously they put me in where I'm supposed to be now. I'm very much guided by spirit, and learn what I've got to do daily and where I have to be, and I trust my life with them now. I very much have committed and sacrificed my life for spirit now. But back then, I remember working as a security guard one day, and I was just sat in the chair. I was in this lorry park, watching lorries come and go. And I just suddenly shut my eyes. Instead of it being all black behind your eyes, it was the most intense, bright white light. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. It was like I was conscious, but I wasn't part of that dimension, let's say. I don't know how to explain it. And in front of my eyes, I saw what I can only describe as a load of bright white outlying people, and I call them the council. I don't know. I was new. I mean, at the time I'd say council 12 or something like that. And I also saw some others, like what I'd say, it sounds dark, but lights going across people in front of me. People who say they see angels. Now, there's no wings on these angels or forms. This was just like hooded, bright white hooded. people, caped people, very special people. And it went from that to what I can only describe as me being shown a big slab of marble. And as I focused in on that slab of marble was inscribed, "Teach the prophets." Now, I didn't know what the word prophets was or anything. I've not read no Bible. I don't know anything about any stories. I actually Googled what prophet meant. I still didn't really understand it. And I thought, well, I'm not a teacher and I don't understand that. And only until recently, this is probably about 20 years ago, did that suddenly make some sort of sense, because I am teaching now, I am teaching for spirit now, and also I am suddenly being shown people telling stories of dying and coming back, what they've seen, and it's exactly what I knew was there, if that makes sense. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to go on too much about that, because that's obviously just a stage I'm going through at the moment about things that I'm told and things that I have this like wisdom channeled and knowing of, suddenly being proven, verified, just as when I was ready to hear about Crazy Horse and different things like that, and my healing channel abilities, being verified. That was told when I was ready to move to the next chapter. You know what, I've never read the Bible, and obviously it's again another story of whatever. But then again, how spirit works is they suddenly put a book down in front of you that you can't read until you're ready, or they come up on YouTube a channel of something going on, or a story coming on. I know the other day, I think twice, we had a story about these lost chapters of the Bible or something, and I was listening to them. I have no reason at all to listen to anything religious like that, because I don't call myself religious, I don't call myself Christian or anything like that. But I can be getting emotional. It's such a soul touching thing, a truth touching thing. And I listened to these. This guy was like trying to decipher this chapters and in how he saw it, but actually the truth was there. He didn't see it, but the truth had been written as to what I know and what those who have that extra source know. So that makes me suddenly want to sort of look at the Bible, if that makes sense, and read these messages and teachings that have been out there, which have knowledge, not just all other ancient texts. I'm connected to ancient texts and knowing that spirit connects me with, and they sort of quote things and tell me things, and very wise stuff comes through to help people. And it's like I used to sort of quote things like we're living in this, we're part of this web and things like that. And as I slowly was sort of coming onto the internet and books and everything, those words were in those books and on the internet. All these things I'd been like saying or understanding were suddenly being verified in text. It's like when I do, when I channel, when I do readings. My ex used to be a Freemason. And I went and actually channeled and did a journey, and actually, well, I didn't know a journey at the time. I just like go from whatever I do, and I was describing the inside of the Masons' lodges, and girls aren't allowed in there, And yet I was describing everything that he knew and he'd seen, and at the times I've had Egyptians come through and talk to us, and at the times I'd go down into what I would only call the underworld and would describe what I was seeing there. And again, that's all verified by people who have, well, him especially, historians. I was verifying history, if that makes sense. It's historical texts and this knowledge that I've been seen, channel given, transporting to. Even to the point I was possessed this one time with one of the witches and taken over, and I went down to Hades, and there was like these 3 entrances and dogs and everything else like that, and apparently that they worked with Hades, and they had to sort of like stop me, this thing coming and actually attacking them through my body. all these weird and wonderful things that, which is why the witches were scared of me, because obviously I was in a situation where I said to them, "Look, this is going to happen. Do you want me to stop it or whatever?" They said, "No, we'll stop it if need be." So I was fully aware. I've always been fully aware of what's going on. But right back then, like I say, I was a lot more active. Anyway, so say a lot of jumbled stuff going on. And to bring us right up to the present, I had a lot of life things going on. I'm just basically surrounding myself with animals and hidden away from people. I have very much a servitude desire. No self-care. It's not about me, it's about others. Need the animals around me, need to be in nature, and everything else need to just, be away from people, because that's where I connect, that's where I'm at peace, that's where I'm stronger. And when I first came out into the public domain, which was obviously when I think 2016, 17, I got myself another little market store shop, and I used to do, it was like an enchanted shop, selling fairies and witchy things at Amy's and, whatever. I did this twice. I did this once before, and then I came back and did it again. And each time I did it, I was like, people were drawn to me, and it was like I couldn't get people away from me. I was able to sort of, it was like in this wonderful, peaceful setting. I was able to tune into people, talk to them, read for them, and people just come in and they come for healings. And I ran away from that because it was like coming like Mother Teresa. People were coming to me to be, basically lay my hands on them, and I used to call it sapping back then, and I'd heal things that doctors couldn't heal. I'd whatever I was channeling, it was just ridiculous. I even got sapped up to Reiki Master just so that I could actually have a qualification on the wall, if that makes sense. I've gone through all the training. I was actually somebody we all know used to sort of sap people up to it, and just to get a certificate on the wall. I always worked my own way. I've always worked with whatever channels through me and do some weird and wonderful things. And it was a very special but daunting time in my life, to realise what I started saying, which I'd always known, and I said, I can kill or cure with a touch of my finger. And that freaked a few people out. So I shouldn't be saying things like that. I was sort of, when I allowed to sort of be in online groups, I just wanted to learn. But I said, I'm saying what I know is true. As has proven to be true. I have healed many people through my touch and the channel. I've also passed over a beautiful dog that I was asked to do through touch, and that made me cry. That made me realise, and yes, I can actually pass spirits over, and I can also heal souls, help souls find their way, guide them. But I'm only part of that channel. It's a partnership which was very hard for me to speak and accept and say. But I know that's true. I know I have to stand up and accept that it's me doing it too. I'm part of that. The spirit showing himself then, as you saw then. They've said that it's time for me to come out and do things and accept what I am and show myself more and stop hiding. And they too will show themselves and prove what I channel. So tonight, Halloween, it's I know there's been a load of waffle. I will share this. It's obviously going to go on as long as I thought it could be. So tonight's Halloween. I'm going to come on, do a few readings, and see if spirit shows itself and shows who's around me, and guide me and connect. This journey is amazing. We are all connected. We are everlasting souls. And it's all within. I have so much to learn. I have so much love to give. I said there's not much good about me, but I work from a place of unconditional love. I am love. I am able to read light, energy, vibration. I'm so in tune to it. I'm so able to connect with the different, let's say, dimensions. I'm able to connect to the ancient wisdom source, whoever's messaging through me, from the highest, from where we end up. I know that. I know I'm working on such a small percentage of the capacity that I have, and the power that comes through me is just so amazing, and the lives it's changed, the healing it's done. And as I get stronger and fitter in my own health and start looking after me, so I'm able to help others start believing in me and my love, which I know is so pure. And it's being judged so unfairly by those in the mind, body, spirit, fairs and places, which is their ego. It's just their ego being scared of something, someone so authentic. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm just doing spirit's work. I'm here to love. I'm here to heal. I'm here to pass on their messages. I'm here to help us all find our way. Just love everybody. Just be love. Be light, because that's where we come from and where we're going back to. And interestingly, I didn't know what my next drum was going to be. And yet that's what I've got to paint. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to show that. Sorry, I'm not going to go on anymore. This obviously turned into just be a little bit of waffle, a little bit of Halloween chat. And as ever, I've ended up in tears. A little bit of an insight. I will be writing my books. I will be telling about my stories more in depth. I love you all. Remember that we are all one. We are all connected. Share that love. And love yourself too. Bye for now.